Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to attempt to wake myself up this morning because I feel absolutely exhausted. I was woken at 3:33. I fall asleep listening to, sorry, excuse me while I get dressed for work. There's every button gone on this fucking, anyway. I woke up after doing a whole thing about the corroboree and Aboriginal thing. I woke up at 3:33 with something that I hadn't put on playing about deep time. And it was an Aboriginal woman speaking about deep listening, like listening deeply. And then I got to work doing my diary, which is my Facebook, going through it. And I noticed in some of the, I'm doing this in the place I was living in, Gingin, which is on my mum's property. And one of the videos particularly, I couldn't believe how many things I heard in the background. And this included the cockatoos, crows, turkeys, chickens, my dog barking, the wind blowing in, all things that I'd become very acquainted to. The door, there's a big door there that kind of rocks back and forth as the wind comes. Lots and lots and lots and lots of things that I heard in the video. About a minute after waking from this thing and then listening to this, and I was like, oh, that's that. This is odd, isn't it? Statistically, how do I explain all these things to a lay person? And more importantly, what is the explanation as to why these things are being ignored? Is this token gesture towards the Aboriginal people just that? Well, yeah, of course it is. Who's been telling the majority of Australians this? Well, the people that have been here the longest that aren't Aboriginal. You know, we're the ones that get labelled as racist, colonise, all these things, but we're also the ones that know that our government is just talking shit. They have no concern. There's no Department of Aboriginal Affairs out here going, this is a deeply, interesting phenomenon that you've woken at a, from the Northern Hemisphere, from the European folk history, 3:33 being a very, esoteric time, and you've woken having listened. Now, and then we have to go into the other option that, well, there is a technocracy that controls my sleep patterns by activating my headphones at certain times to wake me up. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? You'd think during a time of like international espionage and warfare, and we've got the Chinese, 2IC visiting Australia, and everyone's been told to have their phones off and things like that. You'd think all of these things would be relevant. But the accepted strategy by our bureaucrats seems to be to leave the world on red. And what does this mean? I don't mean the colour red, although they seem to be doing that as well. I mean, there is no effort, no anything going into receiving adequate criticism because it's all digital. I've run a company. This is why I happen to be wearing this shirt. I ran this company for 10 years. It daily involved, going through lots of emails, customer complaints, customer concerns, all these constantly. If I hadn't have done those things, I'd be out of business. The only time I actually went out of business was I didn't go out of business. I put my business on hold because the governments of the world told everyone that I was trying to kill your grandma. I was an enemy of the state. I was a dangerous person. I was a extreme radical minority because I wasn't following their promotional material that they were redistributing via their networks. They've built a one-way street. They've hijacked our government and built a one-way fucking street. Now, I did a little reply this morning to the BBC and to the West Australian. And I replied an article that was about the BBC receiving complaints that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, wasn't referred to correctly in their presentation. And the article said that they fielded 750 complaints about that. Fielded. You know, it's as the national broadcaster of the UK, BBC. That's a pretty big fuck up. It's like the future queen being referred to properly. The English are just pretty particular about that type of thing. But what isn't made clear is what fielded means. What does that mean? What does field? What? And here's the thing, it means nothing. You know, I've produced over, I think it's like 20-something thousand pieces of content on a non-stop basis. I am a journalist. I'm not just a journalist. I'm a fucking newspaper. I'm not just a newspaper. I'm a news station. Not just a news station. I'm a university. This doesn't mean that in any of these things, particularly, I should be treated as some type of world high figure in it. But there's a lot there. If this was in the material world, if I followed my instinctual, like my common sense values and put the work that I've put online into the physical world, I'd be sitting in a beautiful courtyard, you know, with a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a nice fireplace with wood that I'd gathered and a big, I don't know, woolen jumper that I knitted. You know, it starts getting ridiculous. The types of things I would have if I, you know, because I'll remind, I am a worker in the physical world. I'm a craftsman in physical reality, not in this fucking digital gobbledygook. You know, it wasn't an option for me to say I fielded inquiries from my customers, because they expected me to rock up and they expected me to do the thing that they'd paid me or were going to pay me to do. But this, I guarantee you, the amount of inquiries I've sent to the Australian Labor Party, to the West Australian Labor Party, to the Premier himself, with nothing. Have they fielded them? I don't know. All of this is precedent for like the largest exposure of corporate neglect, of corporate, like, what, it's not even, it's worse than neglect. It's like gross negligence in a forced, you know, migration into the digital world. And these things should be fucking terrifying anyone in this world. It means, basically, you might think, say the safest thing you have a house, right? Do you? Do you have a house if over 1,000 complaints haven't been responded to? Really serious complaints to do with like long-standing medical malpractice linked into with the government, fraud. corruption, who are you going to tell? If the fucking Gestapo fucking knocks on your door and says, no, you no longer live in that house anymore. Oh, I'll phone these people. I'll phone my relatives. Well, your relatives will do nothing. I've already proven that. The media will do nothing. I've already proven that. You know, the elevated authorities, it's like, this is on the basis of like a baseline complaint. It's like, I haven't just done a baseline complaint. I've completely fucking created a new concept of exposure, so I can expose every level of this. This isn't a sustainable, pathway that we're on. And this is coming from a small business owner. If I applied the same logic that our government is using on Twitter, I'd be out of business within a month. See what isn't understood about a lot of our government, history, is that it was built on trust and reputation. Now that's like this strange commodity that has become rare. It literally was built by people trying to do the right thing. Yeah, there was some self-interest involved. But your reputation is like, if you were just going after self-interest in the world when like everything was pretty, like you could see it's like, oh, he's gone for a parliament position there and he's this. Everyone would talk about that. They knew. Because when these things were started, like they weren't all in this abstract digital world. Like you could see, oh, he owns a farm there and he wants to build a road there so that he can get to his farm and ride his horse there, whatever. It was all pretty self. Oh, he's got some shipping. He wants to bring his cargo through here. And so he's going to go in there and do this. And they're blocking it here. And this was all kept on paper record. Paper record. Something that's kind of spoken about as like archaic. It's old-fashioned. It's the old way of doing things. But the one thing that it had was that you could do a carbon copy, you could do a paper thing, you could do signatures, and then both parties take a physical element. And as long as they keep that in a safe or they keep that whatever, they know it's not going to change. But this is what we're at the dawn of. What does this government? What will it explain outwardly to the people that it's have trusted these individuals to do the role? How is it going to explain neglect of this level? And how is it going to do anything when this is its precedent that it's standing on? There will be no reply in anything. This government is a fucking vacuum cleaner. How do we have authority to go and demand the message requests to our government on these social medias? I don't know. They're trying to turn it all off for the young people of the country because they're going to be the ones complaining when their parents are getting put in jail or getting put in fucking debt camps or getting put in work camps. And they don't want the leverage in the hands of the social media companies as the young people of this nation complain and they continue their strategy of ignoring, of fielding complaints or fielding inquiries. I'll tell you how the next fucking complaint is going to the West Australian Labor Party. It's going in a brick with a note on it, and it's going through their front fucking window. Now, I have a special kind of thing with this because I can get it sorted. You know what I mean? This is the old-fashioned thing. The old-fashioned social media was called a window. Marvelous fucking thing. I'm looking at one right now. There's a big glass pane, and you could stick products and things in it, and people that walked by could see the things, and they could ponder about buying them, whether you were there or not. Imagine the efficiency of this product, the window. People could look at your products after hours. Doesn't that sound like the internet? Doesn't that sound like what online shopping was? Online shopping, yeah, you can look at the products from your house, like they don't even need to be open. That's the next level. So the internet, really put a fucking dampener on the old fucking window business, the window shopping business, especially that Bill Gates bloke. Called himself Windows. He's not Windows. Do you know why Bill Gates and Windows and the computer fucking internet fucking con isn't the same? Because you can't stick a fucking note around a brick and thrust it through the fucking window. And I don't get paid when anyone does that. See, when there'd be these fucking political protests and people would be up in arms, like running the banks and, corporate things and riots and all this stuff, I'd get paid. Every time the populace realised that the government was trying to fucking screw them over, they'd send bricks, rocks, fucking everything through all the fucking windows, and I'd clean up. I'd get paid a lot. But now what happens is no one sees anything. There's no broken glass on the ground. All there is a secret inbox with thousands and thousands of complaints and probably hundreds of really, really well-formed arguments with tons of evidence. Tons of accusations about, massive, massive corruption, neglect, human rights issues, all types of things, just sitting in an inbox that no one can see. In a lot of cases, they don't even have windows anymore because they've been so effective in just projecting from the online world, like I am. But I'm an outsider, or am I? That's the most important thing. Am I an outsider, or am I an internal investigator? See, the world of commerce, the world of all these things, it's been a one-way street. It's been all growth. Just keep building on the system. The system hasn't been tested yet at all. And by tested, I mean like massive build-up of corruption or like complaints and things like when I had to go on hold, I had some complaints. There's people that didn't get their work. Not a lot. It was a tiny, tiny figure that was barely, a thing compared to the millions and millions of dollars of deposits that builders are taking and then not committing on. The entire country, the entire world is paddling their fucking canoe down shit creek about to go off shit fucking waterfall. And all of this water gushing over the face is all digital bullshit. And they don't know how to stop. They're junkies. They're addicted to the power that the internet has given them, to the distribution, to the removal of infrastructure. Like, you don't need to have office staff and offices and coffee machines and tables and desks and meeting rooms and boardrooms and all these. You just have the internet and you just keep flogging shit. And if anything happens, you just run the fuck away. You just bail out of there. I think right now the government is trying to take receivership of like millions and millions and millions of dollars of fines that they're handing out to these tobacco criminals that are selling illegal tobacco in the country. But it's questionable. Is like, are these fines actually, with the amount of cost of cigarette, are these fines actually even covering the tax loss? Probably not. And they're not going to claim on them. This is the whole fucking thing. It's like it's all just outward. They're just fishing. You stick a patsy on a line, with a container load of cigarettes. You play the legitimate game. You'd catch them with a fine, then the fine never gets paid. They close up and they start up somewhere else. But this is literally what our government is doing. It's taken me 3 years to gather enough evidence against them, against the whole fucking system, against the whole system's exposure of using this method. And it's the strangest, all we hear about is this bureaucratic, red tape thing. Where is the red tape? How are they thrusting any new projects into the thing while with something like this sitting in their fucking inbox daily? And see that the accusation again is that, well, what would be the next step? See, they will say, you need to fill in our form and you need to report it in our fucking whatever in a stamp addressed envelope with a fucking public fucking in our system. But you're not using your system to distribute your fucking rhetoric to the country or to the state. So you've built a filter. I'm going to, right after, as soon as I do this, I'm going to use Google AI, which is handy for a couple of things, but it's pretty fucking shit. It's once you fucking actually get in there, it's annoying because it does these things, but it is good for certain, basically it's good for making pictures. That's it. And, gathering certain stuff. But then if the more you gather of more important, you have to check it more. And it's just easier to just check it yourself and know it. Obviously not to someone who's never done something like that. Then it's like this miracle machine. But if there's, say, 20% of that's wrong or misaligned or actually not your opinion, then it's worthless. So it's easier just to gather your own stuff. And this is the greatest thing. I would have trouble writing, but I don't have trouble speaking. This is another thing that's being left. You have to put it in writing. Well, writing is a lesser form of communication. This is writing. When I send it, this is more than writing. You should know because this is the exact way that you got into politics. You got elected by speaking, more than likely. I think these people literally think because they had to fill in a form probably at some point, they think that's what got them in there, but it was the speaking. But they're not really doing a lot of speaking. Just the pure embarrassment. I cannot imagine being a politician in a state where there is a person that gets up every day and spends over 15 hours trying to prove how incompetent and fucking corrupt they are. As they wall themselves in behind a fucking newspaper wall. They're like, this fucking newspaper wall's going to keep us protected. Imagine the fucking the gymnastics, the mental gymnastics these people are doing to wake up and, more importantly, to go to sleep soundly every night. They're like, we've got the one newspaper town that seems to be only just slightly, helping him, but they're mainly helping us because we pay them. And yes, our inbox is filled with these complaints and with these accusations, but he hasn't filled out the form. And he hasn't taken us to court. No, I'm just making it as big as I possibly can. This is inflation in real time. We think of inflation. Oh, inflation is the money's worth less. What is money? Money is trust. So what is this? This is inflation. The further the government goes in without fucking making comment on these accusations is inflation. It's inflationary. because the government pays people a lot of money. So if trust in the government goes down, that's the same as trust in money going down. You know, if trust in these contracts, let's say a fucking multinational mining company comes here, they spend a lot of money on the license to get the thing, and then, I don't know, as soon as they start, they get exploded because no one is actually fucking trusting the government. That's inflation. That's the same as, you know, a wheelbarrow load of fucking Weimar Republic dollars to get a fucking loaf of bread. It's just everywhere I look. So this is the game right now, to simplify it. Right, the government, the Labor Party of the country, is trying to shut down social media for kids. They're basically trying to scapegoat Mark Zuckerberg, which is he's the perfect person. He's Jewish. He's nerdy. You know what I mean? He's a tech fucking dude. He's not exactly the most sociable person. He kind of plays this. He can't be combative. He kind of plays this everyman, like, hey, I'm just a guy. He's an easy scapegoat, but he's projecting out a bit bigger than just Australia. So Australia's done the oldest trick in the book. They blame someone else. So they're trying to do that. They're trying to send this message around the world that it's Mark Zuckerberg's fault. And we're going to do the wonderful thing. We're going to remove the children from the fucking social media. And the social media is sitting on all the evidence of the amount of unanswered inquiries that our government is sitting on that platform, which is game over. It's like basically they're going to have to go to court, right? And it's not, see, this is the other thing with social media. It's not just the CEO, it's every single contributor to that system, which is a fair few more than the Australian government. If you took the entire Australian government and you took their entire income, and then you took the entire social media content creator community and their income, which one do you think's higher? And then you expose also within this that it's the government's own actions that they've at some point decided it's social media, it's social media. It's not important for us to answer social media inquiries or complaints or accusations because it's not real. But it's real enough to ban it. You know, which is a fuckload of work, it's a huge request. And that's what they're going to walk into court with. You know, it's like I've just gone, hey, remember? And here's the clincher. I can no longer send this correspondence to the relevant parties, to the Australian Labor Party, to the E-Safety Commissioner, to the West Australian Labor Party, to the West Australian Premier, because they've blocked me. Imagine that. Imagine if the world was that easy. Imagine if the world worked as it's working in the minds of these fucking idiots. It's literally like, imagine somebody fucking, like, this is the precedent they're setting. Somebody, you know, on surveillance, breaks into your garage, steals your fucking car, shares it on social media. You know their name. You can see that clearly them. You've identified them. You phone the police. You know what I mean? You're expecting your car to be back. You're expecting these people to be punished, all these things. And then the police phone you back and they say, there's nothing we can do. He blocked us on Facebook. That's literally what this government is doing right now. And I can't believe how long they've been going this course, how much trouble they're going to do this. Like their action within this environment of social media is the worst that you could do. And they're the authority. So if the authority is doing the worst example of behavior in this environment that makes up a huge percentage of our, information ecosystem and our commerce ecosystem and our, economy. And the government is seen to be one of the worst actors and is then trying to avoid and cover up their inaction and their strategy by shutting the whole thing down. This is like, again, I'll do another fucking example because this is, seems to be how we do things here. It's like, I currently am not driving because of this, because I spend all my thing on this and I'm on hold. All my finances are on hold while I make these accusations and do this investigation. So my personal finances are all held up and I'm not receiving an income. This is voluntary work. So there's things like I haven't paid a license, and I don't want to get down to every argument. I don't want to get pulled up by the cops. The cops aren't going to want to hear that I'm in the middle of a voluntary investigation and exposure of our government's corruption. La 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 la. They're just going to process me and say that you don't have a license. I might even have a license. I'm not sure, but I haven't checked because I'm too busy doing this. My car got repossessed because I had to put my business on hold while I was getting attacked. So it's just easier for me not to drive. I can do fine. It's like whatever. I'm basically not going to stop until this is finished. But imagine I was then from that position saying, we're taking all the cars. No one can drive. Because I'm not driving, no one else can drive. And this is literally the people that we're entrusting to drive our entire country and our state. They've neglected the largest, evolution of human communication that increases the fidelity something like 10,000 times. A written letter or a fucking telegram or a pigeon fucking note or a scroll on horseback. It basically is a scroll on horseback, but the scroll is like a video or with music and all these animations and all these things that you could do easily like that. Yeah, but the most important, what's the scroll on? Well, the person who takes it, they're the guarantee that it's come from this person, and then it's got a seal on it, and then it's, under guard and this. This is what Mark Zuckerberg built. And this is what's being neglected. So basically, our government at the moment is filled with a bunch of people who went to the post office and filled out a form and are now governing based on that, and are avoiding and restricting people that are building what is clearly going to be the future of human communication and human authentication. Because it's authentic, it's time-stamped. All the metadata, that's why it's called meta. The metadata, the timing, the date, was it opened, was it received, was it all these things? See, and this is literally exposing again what it's come down to. They'll know at some level that this will be there. So they'll know that Mark Zuckerberg has the metadata of whether this inquiry was opened or not. So guess what they started doing? And this is why the blocking exists. They block you so that they don't, in their minds, have to open the inquiry. Because they know that in the metadata, it will be shown whether they've opened it. If they open it, then they're seen to be neglecting the thing. If they claim violence and they claim that this person is an extremist, then they're not going to, it's not going to work because they're the ones doing the abuse by putting the person in isolation. which is what this is. Can you imagine if there was take fucking any hospital in the country right now and you take offline, it just no longer works, the emergency bell that is in every fucking room and every bed, right? It just never works for a whole day. Can you imagine the fucking chaos that would happen? This is your government right now. Well, our Prime Minister fucking, rubs shoulders, as I said, with people that are promoting genocide of white families in South Africa. While the Islamic captured Senate argues about how offensive it is for a red-headed woman, a cohort of the human population that makes up 2%, wearing the garb of an extremist religious sect to make a point. So the thing is, like, she takes that off, she's got red hair. People are openly mocked for having red hair in this country. It's a huge. Any caricature I've ever seen of Pauline Hanson has her with flaming red hair and like freckles and like do you know what I mean? So that's all fine. Well, I guess I'll send this to Pauline. I'll give her a little hint. Pauline, don't worry about the burqa. They've said you can't wear it. Wear a wig. Wear a long brunette or a long blonde wig. And let's see how far these brain dead fucking zombies are going to fucking stroll into this crocodile infested waters. When Senator Hanson walks in with a fucking blonde wig. Is a wig fine? Well, people with cancer have wigs. People that have alopecia wear wigs. Is a wig a fucking racist? You fucking cunts. I'll tell you what's fucking racist. It's creating a fictional fucking fairy tale psychiatric cult that takes people that are being dispossessed, that are being forced and culturally genocided in the form of clothing and education and cultural degradation, like not allowed to use a language, traditional customs and things like that, being falsely accused as mental illness, creating a little book and then force feeding a fucking pharmaceutical fucking solution down their fucking necks, and then openly fucking declaring intergenerational discrimination by the form of, what is it, like, this is hereditary, that these mental disorders are hereditary. That's fucking open racism. It's not just open racism, it's fucking cultural genocide. You take the fact that one of the largest proponents of this, the largest people that enacted this onto my family, was an Iranian fucking psychiatrist. I don't give a fuck if every single fucking person in the fucking country wears a fucking burqa tomorrow. This is coming out. This is systemic fucking industrial scale neglect and abuse. And it's all there. We've got every single fucking piece of it. See, these people that are doing this, they've already been, for 40 years, they've been shipping people off to these fucking institutions. They've been drugging them. They've been making these false claims of scientific fucking proof that continuously keeps changing. It's actually just a marketing campaign for an industrial drug company. Things like, chemical imbalance. See, it's all well and good for the companies to go, oh no, chemical imbalance, they'll sideline it somehow. I grew up the first 20 years of my life, I was getting indoctrinated in the cult of chemical imbalance by someone that you'd fucking basically prepared. It's like, hello, mother of fucking four, you have a chemical imbalance. These little fucking chemicals here are the ones that make you think, and this is a fucking hereditary disorder that you're going to pass on to all your children. Let's just walk that back. That's some pretty fucking genius level fucking indoctrination there, isn't it? And who did this in this state in Western Australia? The Premier's father. He may as well be fucking goose stepping down fucking Forest Chase. It's no different. You take that, a multi-generational pharmaceutical genocide abuse fucking strategy, then a digital fucking communication thing falsely used as a solitary fucking digital confinement concentration camp, then an attempt to scapegoat the Jewish CEO of that. Well, you're going to have to burn every fucking piece of evidence and everything. And you're going to have to, the main thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sweep up all the broken glass from every single Labor Party office in this country just gets obliterated in one fucking day. Who the fuck do you people think you are? Honestly, who the fuck do you people think you are? You think you just keep fucking marching? Imagine the same world where we're sitting in, we've got the president of the United States lawsuits against the BBC from defamation because they changed a video. He changed a video, right? Yeah. The BBC getting 750 complaints because they didn't address the future Queen correctly and use her correct title. Wow. And then the West Australian state government being exposed for intergenerational fucking cultural decimation. The Stolen Generation sequel. The attempted fucking gentrification of the true pioneering families of Australia so that they can prepare it to hand over to China. Every single fucking day, I do this because I have faith in the interconnected environment that I'm projecting into. I have faith in the intelligence, in the defense forces from the regions that I'm purporting to support. But every single day, I have to sit here, like I have to paralyze myself so that I don't go and physically fucking retaliate in whatever way I can. So that I don't go and, because this is the problem. I have to get down to all the things. It's like, I know that the fucking young psychiatrist sitting in some stupid fucking, government-funded office, handing out the same bullshit and fucking the same advice and the same, implanting people into this same system. He's just fucking captured by the same. His parents told him to go to uni. He's a complete fucking moron. He's gone and done the thing. He thinks he's doing the right thing. No fucking feedback is getting to him that he's a complete psycho, except the little drip feeds that are being allowed and aren't being censored. He's not really been made aware that there is a massive exposure of this happening in his very own state. But it doesn't matter. It's like, that's a Nazi. I'd love nothing better than to shove a fucking piece of steel this long through his fucking head and then send a clear message to the next guy who's the next one down in the suburb that I'm heading his way. See, it's the greatest thing. It's like you abuse people. You then falsely accuse their fucking instinctual reaction to your abuse as mental illness. Oh, it's fucking genius. It's genius. It worked for a long time until there was a, completely interconnected, digitally fucking globally reinforced exposure of it. But these people are still going. So every day I know that, like, how many people do psychiatrists go through a day? How many people are they abusing and implanting into their system? They're just trying to win this by attrition. But what are they trying to win? Every day that I don't go and shove a piece of metal this long through a psychiatrist's head and I just sit here and explain it, I talk about it, like the 10-year-old kids that are playing games where they do that to other people. Well, that's not insane, is it? Although they'd probably try and do it. Whatever promotional tool they'll use in these final days, they'll use it. But no, there is no fucking crime here of me speaking ill of this fucking system that has abused me since my fucking birth. For me, drawing an accurate picture of what I would do if I wasn't completely in touch and in control of all my fucking outward aggression, albeit but the speech. But the speech is part of it. Without this speech, without me explaining exactly how much these individuals have trespassed, have abused, have corrupted, have destroyed my family, then people wouldn't know. So it's important to speak about these things. And as soon as you're in an environment where you're not, someone speaks about these things and they're pushed who? To the very people that are going to fucking abuse them. See, it's full 360 degrees exposure. Now, like, as a fucking little footnote here, I guess, just for my legal argument, well, if Roger Cook was brought up in this type of environment, then he's been abused the same since birth. He's been abused and has been raised within a system where this abuse was legitimized. And so he's completely blinded to it. He can't see that what he's doing is the inevitable extension of what his father had been doing and what his government is actually doing in the shadows. Because this is the thing, it works. People that are getting like gentrified, where they're getting genocide, culturally genocide, where their traditions and customs and all their language, family, whatever, everything is being destroyed and they're acting up, are getting, it works. They take them away, they drug them, they get given this thing, they think it's all their fault. And they don't sit there and do 3 years of fucking exposure. They don't write 10,000 fucking pieces of content and address it to them. So why am I doing it? Because I was heretically attacked by this. This was passive smoking. I didn't voluntarily go in. Really, my mother didn't really either. They fucking headhunted her. And back in those days, their recruitment was they would find young, attractive fucking mothers and then basically take them in the most pivotal time, remove them from their children that they'd just given birth to, feed them with cake and apple pie, and then drive them around in fucking Lamborghinis and then lull them into this fucking thing that they're this special person who has this special condition. That was how this started. That's why it was so effective. You know what I mean? If I go do that now, it's going to be effective. I could do that now and tell them that they're fucking Pokemon captures and it would probably work. I guarantee you, doesn't that sound crazy? I go and take new mothers, right? I remove the child from them. I then tell them that they've got this special fucking task that they're ready to do where they're going to go catch fucking Pokemon, and I give them a little Pokeball and I say, don't worry about the kid. The kid's getting looked after. He's heretically going to be a Pokemon catcher as well. You're a very special person. Here, you take these little pills. These prepare you to see the Pokemon. And let's see if that fucking works. Except we'd never do that in a million years, but that's what they've already done. They've done that for 40 plus fucking years. And that, believe it or not, that is the West Australian state government's mental health plan. That is their complete strategy. Obviously, I've implanted the Pokemon bit for effect, but it's not much fucking different. Because they're not catching Pokemon. They're catching all the other people that might be Pokemon catchers. It is a marketing strategy being falsely presented. A marketing abuse strategy falsely presented as healthcare. See, the problem is it's not just the money from the pharmaceutical, which is hidden from the abusee, from the victim, by a socialized healthcare system. That's an aspect of it. You get everything. You get the control. You get the intergenerational, cultural control. You get the precedent to bring it into court to use as reference to remove someone's power. It's the perfect fucking tool. I looked yesterday and I saw there's a conversation about Russia's, peace plan, which is basically just we're going to continue invading Ukraine and this is your surrender. And that's literally how it is. They want they're like, you have to shrink your army down. You're not allowed any foreign troops or anything like this. You have to give us the land that has their best ports and things like that to continue an invasion. And yeah, This is what this strategy was. That we take the mothers, we make them abuse their own fucking children, we make them destroy their own culture, we make them basically feel like they're a superhero out healing people when they're actually fucking hurting people. And we remove down a fucking line. It's like, if one person in your family above you has been diagnosed by this absolute fucking disgusting fucking industry, you are already in there. You may as well be fucking playing didgeridoo and sniffing fucking petrol in the eyes of the fucking judiciary in this country, in this state. See, the masterful act in this, in their mind, not in mine, it is horrific. This is Nazi World War II level shit, but it's been stretched out. So when we think of World War II and the Nazis, we think of, the 4 years or whatever it was. A lot of trouble, a lot of fucking horrible things done in 4 years. You look back at the last 4 years, yeah, there's a lot of horrible things. The way this gets shielded is that it's been going on for 40 years. In the shadows. They mastered it. They absolutely fucking mastered it. So it's all stretched out. See, the problem is, it's like this. This is actually what I was going to talk about this morning, and then I've been led down this pathway. But what we are stuck in at the moment is a feedback cycle to do with humans observing other humans. I've heard it referred to as like shifting baseline. So every new generation is being given up a baseline of what humanity is and what it does. And then there is every attempt at every level. This is why we're packaged into these generations to create stratification, so that there isn't clear communication between the generations, so that we can't actually assess how this baseline keeps moving. It's a homogenization of humanity. And it's failing because it doesn't actually do anything with people. All it is a filter. It's like people are born and processed through this system with the result of basically disciplining them if they go against anything. You know, we've obviously seen a huge thing with the vaccine. That was like a mass movement. That's amazing. But that's not what's happening on the daily. On the daily, it's if you're 1 degree away from conformity, you are filtered back in, you are disciplined. Not for any reason. I guarantee you it's not for any reason, because conformity is not good for everything except for one thing: control. The only reason we are being processed through this conformity filter machine is so that these insane lunatics can remain in control as they're slowly but surely exposed for this, because this is an abusive system that is incompetent and is not, it's not creating the people that we need to fix the problems, because the problems are actually caused by the conformity filter itself. You know, it's like conformity means everyone's the same. But then if everyone's the same, then no one, like literally, it because it's simplified humanity. It's like if someone is going against the conformity, they're against us, the government, and they need to be disciplined. But if conformity is seen to be like degrading and a negative trajectory of humanity, then it's filtering out anyone fixing the problem, which is what the government is claiming to be doing. So by definition, a government anywhere in the world that is using this, that is seen to be participating in this type of action, is actively preventing the solutions that we need whilst creating the problems, and inevitably is going to be exposed, but its only concern is slowing down the timeline as to when it is going to be exposed, and claiming that that is protecting us because the downfall of this system will be traumatic. Can you, that sounds like what psychiatrists would do, wouldn't it? You have to keep seeing me. If you don't keep seeing me, you're going to get worse. You have to keep voting and calling us the government, because if you don't keep doing that, things are going to get worse. But we're actually the reason things are getting worse, because all the people being the same is like stifling and suffocating humanity. And they're trying to do this in a moment where we have the most amazing fucking tools and resources and they're trying to like shut it down. It's like, this is the last days of this. It's actually like, if I can get non-emotional and just remove myself from the situation, because I do, you know, I'm further away from the worst days of this. Although, you know, every day could be the worst day. It's like, it's not unlikely in this situation of doing what I'm doing, historically speaking, that someone drives past here and shoots me. That's why I do it every morning, looking out a window. They know where I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the reason I do it, is because it's like, well, I may as well be fucking exposed as much. Like, I may as well live that real thing. So every day I wake up and I don't get shot, I'm like, I must be getting somewhere. Because historically speaking, people doing what I'm doing usually get shot. But then I can't understand. It's like, why is it still going? Like, what? At what point are we actually going to get the fucking negotiation? Are you people just freaked? Roger Cook, just fuck off to China, mate. Now's your chance. You know what I mean? Slip out the back door. Put a mustache on. Fuck off. Any of the fucking other grubs that are doing it. If you're a psychiatrist and this, just slip out of here. You know, I have no doubt in my mind, it's like, if you're either all going to be imprisoned and processed for these crimes against humanity, or it's just going to fucking flip and we're all going to actually start putting fucking pieces of metal this long in your head. It's time for the rats to fucking, to flee from this sinking fucking conformity filter shit. And as soon as that starts happening, then I can get back to doing what I do or what I want to do, which is building alternative. And by alternative, I mean the things that humanity's been doing for the majority of its existence, but using the new technologies and community and communication tools to make sure that doesn't stratify into like crazy tribal feudalism. But until then, I just have to keep doing this. It's like we're not at a level of Supreme Courts. We're at a level of warfare. I'm doing the responsible thing of not activating warfare. You're doing, again, the irresponsible thing of just avoiding, which is and would be declared and diagnosed as a mental disorder. If it's megalomaniac avoidance syndrome. There we go. It could only be someone who was psychotically fucking very, very ill that was claiming to be an authority figure while sitting on the top of a fucking situation like this. Attempting to take on the largest interconnected network of human beings on Earth with an inbox full of very, very, very serious fucking accusations. Very, very hard, firm evidence, and a very capable person like presenting that daily that is within your fucking constituency, which is within walking distance from you. This is some fucking mental gymnastics again by these politicians to continue down this path. I guarantee you that behind my words is fucking men with guns. Right? My job is to make sure that we get through this peacefully, that we don't go to there. But that's where we're at. We're just there. We're fucking right there. If you think this is some type of fucking, bluff, you're mistaken. If you think we cannot distribute this message and this at a mass scale, you're mistaken. I just really wish you would surrender. It's like prison's not going to be that bad. Do you know what I mean? Prison is going to be better than the alternative. And here's the even better thing. I think it's like because these people are responsible for this hideous fucking system, they think of a prison like the prisons that they have made. That's not the prison that these criminals are going to go to. You're going to go to a prison that is a new version of prison, or you're going to be killed. They're the only fucking results. Or you can try and fuck off. And look, there's a window. Now you've got about a day. You've really got to fucking just cut. I don't know what your relationships are like with your partners and things like this or your kids, but it's really time to just start thinking about drawing that money out and fucking getting the fuck out of Dodge as quickly as you can. Because if this flips to violence and warfare, we're going to hunt you like fucking dogs. There'll be no escape. If you want to try and drive out of here and go east, it's like you'll be getting tailed the whole way across the fucking Nullarbor and being chased like fucking Mad Max. I really, 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 really am encouraging this fucking sick cohort of Nazis to smell the fucking coffee. Really start getting the message. Maybe do a little mental exercise and envisage that every single video I've done, every addressed fucking thing, every animation, every whatever is a brick going through your window with a note on it. Because that's what it's been. You know, if you can't ground yourself in these comparative examples, like, well, a website really is like a window, isn't it? Yeah, I never thought about that. An inbox filled with fucking videos really is like somebody sitting, you know, in my front office. It's really the same. You know, a person putting at the West Australian and at BBC and at Governor General, it's really the same as them having a fucking board meeting in their fucking land. It really is the same. All of these things really are the same. It's really amazing what this fucking go-getter has done, despite all his, you know, predisposition to mental illness. I don't have a predisposition to mental illness. You lot made that up. I have a predisposition to speaking English and being a politician, to being a healthy member of a fucking healthy civilization. I don't have a healthy predisposition to just sit there and watch as a fucking psychiatrist pharmaceutical cult tries to fucking enslave the world in a digital concentration camp. No, I really am not well disposed to just conform to that and just, you know, bend over and suck your fucking dick. Consider this the electric shock therapy. You know, this computer runs on electricity. It runs through electrical fucking wires. Your computer is plugged into electricity, or your phone is, and you're now getting shocked by this electric shock therapy. Now, there's two ways to go about this. You either take the information and accept it and actually make it real, or you continue the delusion. Doesn't this feel like I'm being a psychiatrist? I'm not being a psychiatrist. I would never use that fucking word. Although maybe at some point they're actually going to fucking actually describe me as a psychiatrist, which would be funny. The moment I was described as a psychiatrist, I'd basically be like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a fucking survivor of psychiatry. I'm a victim of psychiatry, of intergenerational psychiatric fucking abuse. And I've defended myself since I was poisoned in the womb with the fucking divine fucking spark of fucking the universe and God, I suppose, which is what psychiatry is actually an attack on. It's an attack on God. It replaces God, you know, not with an intermediary, although, you know, think of those intermediaries, they've done enough trouble as they were, being the voice of God. Imagine what the intermediaries do when they say that they are God, which is what the psychiatrists have tried to do, which is one of the worst diagnoses in their book. These are psychopaths by their own definition. They're megalomaniac, psychopathic, manipulative cunts. Industrialized. They're industrialists. Psychopathic, megalomaniac, genocidal cunts. And as long as they can put a nice shirt on and shave and use gentle language, and they have graphs that they can pull out, you are all continuing to fucking fall for it. I really hope that these warnings are taken seriously. I want this to be over, and I want to be able to begin repairing the damage that a single-minded, you know, homogenous cult has caused to our entire world over the last 40 years. But there needs to be a result. And mark my words, that result will be me being fucking shot in the street, or it will be these people being put behind bars. But no matter what happens, this every day, this will be stored in a secret. So you might lock up Western Australia. You might get me put in the fucking ground. You might enslave my fucking children. But this information will be sitting out there in the world, and it will be used as the fucking inspirational fucking content that will invoke the passion for the people that come and inevitably liberate this place. And your heads will be put on fucking spikes. You will be the disgrace of centuries. So, yeah. There it is. There's the deal. What is it? It's Tuesday morning. No invitation from the Liberal Party. Chinese fucking 2IC having, rubbing shoulders with the Governor General and the Prime Minister. Still no fucking assistance, still no whatever. It's like, let's see how this fucking goes. As I said, we march on Beijing tomorrow at dawn, so be ready.